Right now, you're sitting in your home office working on a company-issued laptop. You just finished a Microsoft Teams meeting and you decide to take a 45-minute break to browse the internet, perhaps chat with a friend on WhatsApp web, or vent to a colleague about your managers on a private channel. You believe that because you are physically isolated in your own home, you possess absolute professional privacy. You believe you are invisible. You are operating under a catastrophic, mathematically obsolete illusion. The reality of a workplace digital surveillance is not a dystopian future concept. It is actively running in the background of the exact machine you are using right now. The tools required to track, analyze, and forensically audit your every digital breath are already bundled directly into a standard Microsoft 365 business licenses. While these features are aggressively framed by the corporate PR department as productivity or employee well-being tools, they are routinely weaponized by the IT and executive management to monitor employees' activity with terrifying granular precision. Before I completely deconstruct the architecture of the corporate surveillance, expose the nuclear option of forensics eDiscovery, and give you the precise architectural blueprint of an Apex output stack, the exact software tools you must deploy to artificially and legitimately dominate these metrics, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. We are going to dissect the Microsoft 365 Panopticon. We will cover exactly what your manager can see, how artificial intelligence has lowered the barrier to algorithmic interrogation, and how elite operators flip this surveillance matrix into an undeniable proof of extreme competence. Grab a notebook, it is time to stop acting like a monitored subject and start operating like an untouchable architect. Welcome back, I'm Dr. HR. I hold a PhD in Human Resources and a Master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a Bachelor's in Computer Engineering. I do not approach corporate surveillance with moral outrage and emotional panic. I approach it as a structural reality of a modern enterprise. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities and sovereign wealth fund, I have literally sat in the boardroom where these surveillance dashboards are audited. I have executed the forensics investigation. The data is absolute. Let us systematically deconstruct this technological reality through 5 distinct phases: the Administrative Panopticon, the Forensic Audit Trail, the Algorithmic Interrogation, the Defensive Architecture, and the Apex Output Stack. Phase 1, the Administrative Panopticon, the baseline metric. We must first diagnose the exact baseline telemetry data your corporation is extracting from your daily workflow. When you log into your corporate network, you are entering the Administrative Panopticon. The most prominent tool deployed by an executive leadership is a Microsoft Productivity Score. Microsoft publicly markets this as an aggregated tool to understand how works get done. However, an Apex operator understands that enterprise IT administrators have the capability to drill down into specific individual level data. They can see exactly how you specifically are utilizing Microsoft 365 ecosystem. They can measure your reliance on Outlook versus Team, your collaborative footprint on SharePoint, and the frequency of your cross-departmental digital interaction. But the surveillance becomes infinitely more granular when you examine the team's activity report. If your managers suspect you are quitting or coasting through your remote workday, they do not need to guess. The Team Activity Admin Center allows them to pull a ruthless, precise behavioral matrix. They can track your exact messages count per day. They can audit your call duration. They can see your meeting attendance record. And perhaps most invasively, they can generate report on your camera users. If you are consistently logging into your strategic alignment meeting with your camera disabled and zero chat participation, the algorithm immediately flags you as a disengaged liability. You are mathematically categorized as a dead weight. Furthermore, the corporations deploy Viva Insights. This tool is heavily disguised as an employee well-being mechanism. It sends you polite emails reminding you to disconnect and take breaks. This is a psychological pacifier. On the back end, Viva Insights is aggregating massive behavioral patterns. It tracks your after-hour work, your email read rate, your meeting frequency, and your focus time. If your manager wants to know if you are overwhelmed or underutilized, they simply consult the dashboard. The machine provides a complete, quantified rendering of your biological and cognitive momentum. If your momentum is flat, your career trajectory will mirror it. Phase 2, the Forensic Audit Trail, the nuclear option. The baseline metric track your velocity, but what happens when the corporation needs to track your exact intent? What happens when a massive deal falls through, a compliance breach occurs, or a localized HR dispute escalates? The corporation deploy the nuclear option, Microsoft Purview and eDiscovery. Amateurs believe that when they hit the delete key on a Teams message, an email, or a Word document, the data ceases to exist. This is a fatal misunderstanding of enterprise cloud architecture. Microsoft Purview is a forensics compliance engine. During a legal or HR investigation, an administrator can execute an eDiscovery search across the entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem. They can retrieve your deleted emails. They can pull the exact transcript of your deleted Teams chat. They can extract the hidden metadata of files you thought you securely wiped. If you are a real estate broker in Dubai trying to secretly funnel a proprietary client list to a competitor via your corporate OneDrive, eDiscovery will flag the anomaly, secure the deleted file, and hand the exact timestamps to the corporate legal team. This is compounded by OneDrive and SharePoint version history. Every single time you open a document, modify a cell in Excel, or share a file, the system writes an immutable audit trail. Administrator can access every previous version of a document. They can see exactly who made an edit, at what precise millisecond, and who authorized the deletion. If you attempt to cover your tracks by modifying a financial report after the fact, the version history will mercilessly expose the discrepancy. The forensics audit trail is absolute. In a Tier 1 corporate environment, your digital footprint is written in permanent ink. You must operate with the assumption that every keystroke is being recorded for future litigation. Phase 3, the algorithmic interrogation, Copilot and Defender. In the past, accessing this level of surveillance required a highly trained IT administrator to manually run SQL queries and dig through complex server logs. Because of the sheer administrative friction, employees only faced this scrutiny if they committed a massive, undeniable error. In the 2026, that friction has been entirely eradicated by Microsoft Copilot. Copilot is an artificial intelligence layer embedded directly into M365 ecosystem. It significantly, violently lowers the barrier to algorithmic interrogation. A middle manager no longer needs to ask the IT department to run a report. The manager simply opens their Copilot prompt and asks plain English question. Summarize all communications between employee A and the external vendor over the last 3 weeks. What is the current status of their deliverable? And what was the tone of their last team meetings? The AI instantly scans the email, the team's transcript, the shared Word document, and the calendar invites. It synthesizes the data and delivers a pristine, executive summary of your exact operational output and psychological sentiment. Copilot has turned every manager into a forensics auditor with a 4-second response time. And while Copilot monitors your internal collaboration, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint monitors your external parameter. Defender is not just an antivirus program. It is an active security surveillance matrix. It monitors the application execution and web activity on your managed devices. It detects exactly what websites you are visiting, what unauthorized applications you are trying to install, and what data you are attempting to export. If you spend 3 hours browsing social media or non-sanctioned entertainment site on your corporate laptop, Defender logs the traffic. The algorithmic interrogation is continuous, automated, and mathematically unforgiving. Phase 4, the defensive architecture, employee and managers protocol. If you wish to survive in the corporate panopticon, you must establish a strict defensive architecture. For the apex employee, you must operate with an absolute cold discipline. 1. The law of segregation. You must strictly segregate your hardware. Never, under any circumstance, conduct personal business, access personal banking, or engage in private conversations on a company-managed device or a corporate network. Treat your work laptop as a public broadcasting terminal owned by the CEO. 2. The illusion of deletion. Internalize the reality of eDiscovery. Write every email and every Teams message as if it was to be read aloud in a courtroom by a hostile attorney. Eliminate emotional venting from corporate platforms entirely. 3. Policy auditing. Read your company's acceptable use and monitoring policy. Understand the exact parameters of the surveillance software deployed on your machine. For the executive manager, if you are managing a team, you must resist the temptation to weaponize this data. 1. The proxy fallacy. You must absolutely avoid using Teams message count or camera users as a primary proxy for actual performance. An employee can write a script to move their mouse and send automated messages. Raw activity does not equals revenue. 2. Diagnostic leadership. You must use Viva Insights and productivity scores diagnostically, not punitively. If an employee's collaborative footprint drops, do not use the data as a scoreboard to fire them. Use the data to identify structural burnout, broken workflow, or systematic bottlenecks. If you managed by surveillance metric alone, you will optimize for fake activity rather than genuine output. Phase 5. The Apex Output Stack. Weaponizing your velocity. We have outlined the defensive protocol to survive the surveillance. But an Apex operator does not just survive, they dominate. If the machine is tracking your metric, you must mathematically overwhelm the machine with undeniable high-leverage execution. You must move beyond Microsoft 365 and deploy the Apex Output Stack. You must integrate specific high-velocity software tools into your workflow to artificially and legitimately inflate your operational output. Ensure your manager's Copilot dashboard reflect absolute dominance. 1. The automation engine. Zapier Central and Make.com. If the Microsoft 365 Panopticon tracks your activity, you must automate your activity. You do not manually write weekly status update or cross-departmental alignment emails. You use Zapier or Make.com to connect your project management tool like Asana or Jira directly to your Outlook and team. When a project hits a milestone, the automation instantly drafts and sends a comprehensive data-rich update to the relevant stakeholders. The algorithm logs high-velocity, proactive communication while you spend a zero biological energy executing it. You are feeding the beast exactly what it wants to see. 2. The asynchronous broadcaster. Loom and Snagit to conquer the metric of collaboration. You must stop typing and start broadcasting. Instead of sending a confusing email or asking for a 30-minute meeting, use Loom to record your screen while you explain a complex problem or demonstrate a lean Six Sigma process optimization. A 3-minute high-fidelity Loom video completely obliterates ambiguity. It proves your deep cognitive engagement, creates a permanent digital artifact of your competence, and visually dominate the communication matrix. 3. The cognitive synthesizer. Notion AI and Claude, the latest versions, when you are tasked with producing massive strategic document, do not stare at a blank Microsoft Word document. You build your foundational knowledge base in Notion. You use Claude 4.7 Sonnet, a model vastly superior at complex multi-document synthesis than a standard Copilot, to analyze your raw data, format your argument, and structure your executive summaries. You then transfer the finalized brilliant artifact back into the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. 4. The executive communicator. Superhuman. If your response latency is being measured by behavioral analytics, you must process your inbox at the speed of light. You deploy Superhuman as your email client interface. By utilizing its keyboard-driven architecture and AI-assisted triage, you process hundreds of corporate email in minutes. You hit inbox 0 twice a day. Your response latency drops to a lowest percentile in your company. The algorithm flags you as a hyper-responsive and highly engaged. When you deploy the Apex Output Stack, you completely flip the surveillance dynamic. You are no longer terrified of the productivity score. You are aggressively manipulating it to your absolute advantage. Look closely at the blinking light on your corporate webcam. You are operating inside a digital panopticon. The Microsoft ecosystem is tracking your velocity, archiving your deletion, and allowing your manager to interrogate your workflow with a single AI prompt. If you act like a naive employee, you will be squeezed by the metric. Execute the defensive architecture. segregate your devices, eradicate emotional communication from the corporate server, and most importantly, deploy the Apex output stack. Automate your visibility, broadcast your competence, and generate such a massive, undeniable volume of high leverage output that the surveillance metrics simply confirm what the executive board already know. You are completely untouchable. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.